Navy Federal does not publish a guaranteed minimum credit score for big limits, and they do not promise a specific credit bureau or model for every decision. I'll clearly separate what Navy Federal states versus what is strategy plus best practice. Now, in today's video, I'm breaking down a full Navy Federal Big Limits blueprint. The relationships, moves that matters, how to use your card the right way, when to ask for a credit limit increase, what credit score you see versus what lenders use, and the mistakes that slow growth when it comes to Navy Federal. And now this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Navy Federal decisions can vary by person. There's no guarantee approvals. So use this as a blueprint to improve your odds of getting approved with Navy Federal for high limit credit cards. Now, what we're covering today is the four things that actually drive big limits, the relationship banking moves that help over time, product ladder, so what to open first and why, the right way to use the card each month, when to ask for a credit limit increase, the official timing, and what credit score you see in the app versus what lenders may use to approve you for a credit card, what gets reported, what credit bureau sees, and the mistakes that block your growth. A 90-day plan plus a 6-month cycle plan. Big limits usually come from four pillars working together. So, number one would be clean payment history, strong income to debt picture, low utilization when your statement closes, and account history plus a relationship with lender. Now, let's build each other step by step, and let's go ahead and help each other to be able to be approved for high limit credit cards with Navy Federal. All right, so even if Navy Federal loves you, your credit report still sets the ceiling. So before you do anything, do this baseline check. Look for the wrong balances, late payments that aren't yours, delinquent collections, and incorrect personal information. Fixing errors can move your score faster than any hack. Now, utilization is basically how much of your limit you're using. Okay. Higher limits can help your utilization. So if your spending doesn't increase, Navy Federal even says raising a limit can improve utilization as long as you don't start spending more. Now, here is one rule that will keep you looking strong for Navy Federal. Don't focus only on your due date, focus on the statement closing date because that's when the balance that usually gets reported is captured. Now, the cleaner your statement balance looks month after month, the stronger you look. Now, let's talk about relationship banking. Now, Navy Federal is a credit union, so relationships can matter over time, but it's not magic. Think of relationship like this. The more stable you look as a member, the less risk you appear to be. Now, having a checking account with Navy Federal gives you a consistent history deposit, bill pay, and account management. Now, direct deposit isn't always required, but it can show how stable income coming in regularly. So it's one of those strong relationship signals because it's reoccurring. Now, I do want to share this with you guys. One of the fastest ways to look risky is consistent overdraft or return payments. So if you're building big limits, keep your account clean. Now, here is a product ladder idea. You're building a profile with Navy Federal over time. Now, depending on where you are, your ladder may look different. Now, if you're rebuilding, your first goal is not a huge limit. Your first goal is to get approved. Your second goal will be build on time history. Your third goal will be keep your credit utilization clean. And your fourth one would then be graduate into strong products later. That will be your ideal goal. Again, if you are someone who is rebuilding their credit. Now, if you already have decent credit, your goal will be get the right card for your spending. Number two will be build 3+ months of perfect payment history. Then request increases on a smart schedule. Now, you want to make sure, here's a secret as well. You want to make sure that you pick one primary Navy Federal card you will actually use consistently. Lenders like predictable management use. So keep that in mind as well. Now, here is the correct way to use your card each month. This is huge. Make sure that you save this information, write it down, screen record it, because this information right here can definitely help you. Now, let's talk about behavior. So, if you want your limits to grow, you have to use the card in a way that makes the lender comfortable. Now, the clean statement method, easy system. Here's simple. Here's the simple steps. Use the card for normal spending, okay? Pay it down before the statement closes. Again, pay that down before the statement closes. And you can also call a Navy Federal to get your closing statement date as well if you cannot find it through the app. All right. Let a small, manageable balance report low. Okay. Ideally low. You don't want to do anything high. If it is reported high, that is fine as well. But ideally, you want to go low. Then pay by the due date, ideally in full. Now, if you're wondering why this works, you're proving two things at once. You can handle credit responsibly, and you're not living off the limit, because there are some people out there that do live off the limit and that do owe a nice amount of money each month and that's trying to pay that off. So you definitely don't want that to be you. So please make sure that you are paying down your limit. And that goes for any credit card company. Now, if you're wondering when to ask for credit limit increase, this is the official timing. Now, here's the part everybody wants to know. All right. So take notes, screen record, and write this down. This is very important information. Now, Navy Federal own credit card facts says they like to see at least 3 months of on time payments on an existing Navy Federal credit card before approving an increase. Okay, you got that? So, if your account is brand new, please do not rush it and go in and start asking for a credit limit increase. Allow yourself to build a relationship with Navy Federal and to just give it time and trust the process, okay? Now, if they also say they generally grant credit limit increases no more than every 6 months, at least 3 months on time payment about every 6 months. But if you're wondering what they consider for a credit limit increase, Navy Federal also explains that credit issuers consider things like your payment history, your current income, and the age and standing of your account. Now, if you want a bigger limit, the lender needs to believe you can pay it on time, you can afford a higher limit, you're managing credit safely. These are all important factors for you to see a high credit limit increase, $25,000 that people are getting approved for, or even more. Now, if you're wondering what score you see versus what lenders use, accurate and clear information. Now, let's clear this up. This is so confusing for a lot of us. Now, the credit score you see in the app isn't always the score used for decisions. Now, Navy Federal states that the score and report you get through mission credit confidence is a TransUnion credit report with a TransUnion Vantage score 3.0. Now, even though this is helpful for monitoring your credit score, but lenders can use different scoring models for lending decisions, and Navy Federal doesn't promise the same model for every product or every member. Now, people always ask, what bureaus does Navy Federal pull from? Here's the accurate answer: it can vary. Don't assume it's always the same. So, if you keep your overall credit healthy across all credit bureaus, you're protected either way. Now, here's an easy tip I want to share with you guys as well. If you have credit monitoring, it will usually alert you if there's a hard inquiry. That's the easiest way to confirm what happened in your specific case. Now, your credit report typically shows your credit limit and your balance. Now, your utilization ratio is based on those numbers. Navy Federal even explains that raising your limit can help utilization as long as you don't raise your spending. Okay, so make sure that you guys keep that in mind. Do not go crazy if you get a 25,000 credit limit and spend 24,000. That is bizarre. They do not want you to overspend your limit. You want to make sure that you keep your credit utilization ratio down. Now, the question: how much should you request? Navy Federal doesn't publish an universal max increase. Okay. Now you should request. So here's the safe approach: request something reasonable that matches your income. So if your income is like most of us, ask for an increase first. Now, if your profile is strong and you can request more, but don't make a wild jump that doesn't match your history. Here's an example. So if you're at $1,000 and you've been using the card responsibly, ask for 2,000 or maybe even 3,000 is more realistic than jumping straight to 25,000. That's gonna sound super, super crazy. Okay. So stay between your means. Do not go jumping into the big limits. Now, they can even approve you for that amount, right? But you don't have to accept that amount if you don't want to. And I'm also going to share with you guys what not to do. Here are the mistakes that slow down big limits, okay? Maxing out the card right before the statement closes. That is the number one rule that would kill your limit growth. Missing payments or making late payments will also hurt you really bad. Return payments and overdrafts can definitely hurt you so bad that they might even close out your account. Applying for too many cards too quickly. If you're sitting up there applying for, let's say, Navy Federal More Rewards card, American Express card, and then the flagship, 2 minutes after that, and then this card after that, you are going to red flag yourself. So you want to make sure that you do not do that whatsoever. Running up balances across multiple cards. So you don't want to do $5,000 on your American Express and then $10,000 on your flagship and $3,000. Like, you do not want to do that. You would literally hurt yourself in the long run. Trust me, this is not a race. Take it very slow when it comes to credit card and being smart and financially stable enough to be responsible enough to make sure that you don't make those type of decisions. Another thing that can hurt your limit is requested increases too frequently. So remember, generally no more than once every 6 months. So if you're sitting up there trying to get increases on all four of your credit cards, that's going to look really bad and hurt you in the long run. Now, big limits equals clean behavior over time, you guys. Please keep that in mind, okay? Now, let me give you a 90-day plan you can literally follow. Days 1 through 7. Set up Navy Federal checking if you want the relationship route. Then you want to go ahead and set up direct deposit if that is possible. If you are working, it don't matter what kind of income that you are receiving, you can have it set up with Navy Federal. Put in 1 to 3 bills on auto pay. Okay, this would definitely help. So if you have a Netflix bill, your phone bill, your cable bill, those will help. Use the credit card for normal spending only. Okay, for normal spending, nothing too crazy, not maxing out a card at $25,000 for a vacation. Don't do that. Pay it down before your statement closes. Now, if you cannot find your statement closing date, I have mentioned this earlier on the video. You want to make sure that you call Navy Federal and get your closing statement date so that way you can make the payment before the statement closes. This would definitely help you out tremendously. Now we're going to talk about 8 to 30 days, okay? Keep statements balances low. Don't open a bunch of new credit. Keep payment history perfect. If your card is new, you're building history. Keep that in mind. You don't want to go into this putting a lot of strain on yourself or your account or credit cards. That is not ideally the goal when it comes to growing with Navy Federal. Now, days 31 through 60, you want to make sure that you maintain the same pattern, update your income if needed. If it has increased, keep your utilization clean and don't ever try to miss a payment. I know things happen in life where sometimes we can't pay things on time, but I feel like as long as you communicate with Navy Federal and be open and honest about your situation, they are more than welcome to help you and are willing to help you. So, again, if you do have to miss a payment, make sure that you give them a call and just kind of communicate that you are unable to make your payment for the month. Days 61 through 90, keep the account in good standing. If you know, or if you now have 3 months of on time payments, you may be in a stronger position to request a credit limit increase up to $25,000, if not more, because Navy Federal says it like this. They like to see at least 3 months of on time payments before approving increases, and that is on their website. Now, here's how big limits usually happen. They don't happen overnight, they happen in cycles. Keep that in mind. They happen in cycles. This is not a race. Remember that, you guys. So, the cycle plan, you want to build 3+ months of perfect history. 3+ months of perfect history. Then you want to go ahead and request a credit limit increase. Maintain clean use. Wait for the next window. Navy Federal says they generally grant increases no more than every 6 months. Repeat the cycle. That is it. Simple and clean, just like that. Now, when people say what credit bill they use, they usually mean one or two things. What credit score you're seeing, like Mission Credit Confidence is Vantage Score 3.0 from TransUnion, or what bills are being reported, like rent or utilities. Now, most lenders don't automatically report your rent and utilities unless you use a reporting services. So don't assume paying a phone bill automatically boosts your credit score unless it's being reported through a tool that reports it. Now, Navy Federal limits can come from a clean credit profile, stable income signals, low utilization as a statement close, and following the right timing. Navy Federal says like this. They want to see at least 3 months of on-time payments before approving and increasing, and generally grant increases no more than every 6 months. Now, what I want you guys to do is comment Blueprint and tell me which Navy Federal card you have, your credit limit, and how long have you had it. And I'll tell you where you are in the 90-day plan and when is your next best time to increase or ask for a credit limit increase. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure that you hit the like, share, and subscribe button and the notification bell so every time I post a new video, you could be notified. Until next time, I will see you all in the next video.